It is the week of February 8th, 2022. My name is Hope.
And I'm Josh. Welcome to your Ruth Fisher News.
Our first story takes us all the way to Egypt. The mummified remains of Amenhotep I, who ruled Egypt from around 1525 to 1504 BC, were unearthed over a century ago, in 1881. But the pharaoh's sarcophagus, exquisitely dressed in linens and an ornate, lifelike face mask, was left untouched for fear of damaging his fragile body. Now, researchers have used three-dimensional computerized tomography to peek through the layers and obtain invaluable information about the ancient king, who lived over 3,500 years ago. The team believes that Amenhotep I was about 5 feet 5 inches tall. He had a narrow nose and chin and curly hair. His surprisingly well-preserved teeth suggest that the pharaoh may have practiced good dental hygiene. The scans revealed that, unlike with other pharaohs, the ancient king's brain had not been removed during the mummification process. A bone analysis indicated the pharaoh was about 35 years old when he died. Since the body was free of any apparent injuries before his death, experts suspect the pharaoh may have succumbed to an illness.
After going in an interior renovation in 2015, the Buckeye Valley Museum is having an exterior facelift and will reopen this summer. Fencing is surrounding the building located at 116 East MC85 at the southeast corner of Town Park. As construction started on January 3rd to prepare, staff has moved archival items and artifacts to the back of the museum for storage. Photographs were removed and areas were draped off to add a level of protection from construction dust. Since 1954, the museum has undergone various projects and renovations. Initially, the museum had one gallery room, with the facility caretakers living on site. Over the years, the Historical Society added 2 large gallery rooms. Exhibit spaces were remodeled and new exhibits were created to bring new life to the shared history. In 2007, the city of Buckeye took over operations, and in 2014, crews remodeled the facility. The new look of the museum will hopefully draw more community interest and ultimately more visitors to learn about the growth of Buckeye into the city we know today. Now, let's go over to Mr. Dobesh with the weekly update.
All right, good morning, Ruth Fisher Colts. We are already into February. So with that, we are halfway through third quarter. So progress reports are going out today. So make sure you get those home. Parents sign them. Bring them back to your homeroom teacher. It's important to note there's still time to get your grades up higher. So if you have questions, talk with your teacher. Look at your PowerSchool login, figure out what assignments may be missing, and obviously get those in. The other important thing is make sure you're here every single day. So if you're feeling good, you got to come to school. Attendance is a very big indicator of how well you do in school. So good regular attendance is always a good thing. So those students who are missing some days, you're going to start seeing attendance letters going home to your families, kind of warning what the law is about good regular attendance and what happens if that is not followed. This week we also have an early release on Wednesday, so that means a 12:15 dismissal here at the middle school. So that's Wednesday. Then following day on Thursday, we are doing a field writing test. So take your time, do your best on the writing test. It's what the new Arizona State writing test is going to look like. So obviously pay attention to it and do your best. Show them what you have when it comes to being able to sit down and put together an essay. So just remember, do your TAK, go through your big ideas, supporting details, and topic sentences, and put those down on paper. You will do fantastic. Only other reminder, make sure you're taking care of those Chromebooks, making sure you check the same one out every single day, and that you are responsible to make sure that Chromebook stays in wonderful working order. With that, make it a great day, and we will see you around campus.
Thank you, Mr. Dobesh. Here's Natalie with sports.
Welcome to sports. My name is Natalie. The 2 teams are set to play in the Super Bowl this weekend at the Cincinnati Bengals and the LA Rams. Both teams came from behind in their respective games to win. It is also the second consecutive year that a team will have the opportunity to play at their own stadium. Tampa Bay did it last year. Now Matt Stafford and the Rams will do it in Super Bowl 56. The Arizona Coyotes pulled off one of the biggest upsets in hockey from the last 15 years last week when they beat the best team in the West, the Colorado Avalanche, by a score of 3-2. The Suns have only lost one game in 2022 so far. At the time of filming, they were going for their 11th consecutive win against the Brooklyn Nets. They have a record of 40 wins and 9 losses this season. They also have a 3-game lead on the next best team in the league. That is all for today. See you next time on Sports News.
Thank you, Natalie. Here's Dora and Kelsey with entertainment news.
Welcome back to Entertainment News. I'm Dora. And I'm Kelsey. February is a busy month around Arizona. The weather is slowly starting to warm back up just a bit, and lots of things are happening around the state. We've talked in a previous episode about the Buckeye Air Fair returning this year on February 18th through the 20th. Other events in Arizona this month focus on the days when Arizona was considered the Wild West. First, hundreds of cowboys, cowgirls, and buckaroos compete in the Old West-style shooting events with displays, vendors, and exhibitions on the side at the Winter Range end of trail event.
This takes place from February 28th to March 6th at the Ben Avery Shooting Range. Next, the annual Lost Dutchman's Rodeo comes to Apache Junction for 3 days of professional and amateur rodeo competitions, as well as a carnival with more than 30 rides and attractions. Music and dancing, a parade, arts and crafts, and gold planning demonstrations are also included. These events happened February 25th to the 27th.
See you next time on Entertainment News. Thanks, girls. Here's Aubrey and Shannon with Fun Fact Trivia.
Welcome to Fun Fact Trivia. My name is Shaylin.
And I'm Aubrey. Did you know that today, February 8th, is National Kite Flying Day? This day encourages exploring kite flying and making. Enthusiasts across the country mark the day by launching their kites or making plans to attend festivals.
Kites are believed to have originated in ancient China, but evidence has also shown the people of the South Sea Islands were using kites for fishing around the same time as the people of China. Your question today is, how far back does the earliest records of kite flying date back to? Your question today is, how far back does the earliest records of kite flying date back to? A, 1800 years?
B, 2600 years.
Or C, 3300 years?
You have 10 seconds to make your decision.
If you said B, 2600 years, you are correct. The earliest records of kites being used in China date back to about 470 BC.
Fun fact, did you know that the biggest kite ever made was about half the size of a football field? It measured over 80 feet tall and more than 130 feet wide. See you next week on Fun Fact Trivia.
Thanks, girls. Let's go over to Rosie with Quote of the Week.
My name is Rosie, and welcome to Quote of the Week. This week's quote is, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." The author of this quote is unknown. See you next time on Quote of the Week. Thanks, Rosie. Here's Gabriel with This Week in History.
Hello and welcome to This Week in History. I'm Gabriel. On February 8, 1986, Spud Webb, who at 5'7" was one of the shortest players in history of professional basketball, wins the NBA Slam Dunk Contest, beating his Atlanta Hawks teammate and 1985 dunk champ, the 6'8" Dominique Wilkins. Anthony Jerome Spud Webb was born July 13th, 1963, in Dallas, Texas. Throughout his life, Webb had to prove himself as a basketball player due to his relatively small stature. Despite a strong college career, his size initially kept him from making the NBA, and after graduation, he played in the U.S. Basketball League. In 1985, he had a successful tryout with the Atlanta Hawks and joined the team. Webb, the shortest player to ever participate in the slam dunk competition, who that time went up against men who were in some cases a foot taller. In the end, size didn't matter. Webb dazzled the crowd with his soaring dunks and bested teammate Dominique Wilkins, who had won the 1985 contest by beating Michael Jordan. See you next week on This Week in History.
Thanks, Gabriel. Here's Science Time with Cameron and Gray.
Welcome to Science Time. My name is Cameron.
And I'm Gray. While this might not be exactly like Jurassic Park, it's not far off. A scientist who plans to bring woolly mammoths, or at least its genes, back from extinction has revealed details about creating a Arctic elephant. Mammoths mostly died around 10,000 years ago. As sea levels rose, the remaining population got stranded on Wrangel Island and eventually disappeared 4,000 years ago.
Well-preserved samples of these extinct giants have since been found in the Arctic permafrost, allowing researchers to get a glimpse of their DNA sequence. Speaking with Harvard Medicine School News on November 12, 2021, a gentlest George Church said that plans to combine cold resistance genes of mammoths with modern Asian elephants would not necessarily create live mammoths immediately, but could see their genes put to good use.
See you next week with more Science Time.
Thanks, guys. Let's go back to Natalie with Word of the Week.
Welcome to Word of the Week. My name is Natalie. This week's word is garble. Garble is a verb and it means to alter or distort as to create a wrong impression or change the meaning. Here is how you can use it in a sentence. My mom had to call the doctor's office back after receiving a garbled message in her voicemail from the doctor's assistant. See you next time on Word of the Week.
Thank you, Natalie. That is all for this episode of Ruth Fisher News.
Vex Robotics will not be selling candy this Thursday so that they can focus on the state finals coming up at the end of the month.
See you next week. Go Colts!